If you thought politics in Texas couldn't get any wilder, buckle up, because the latest showdown is straight out of a legal thriller with a Texas twist. Governor Greg Abbott just designated one of the largest Muslim civil rights organizations in America, CAIR, as a foreign terrorist organization, triggering shockwaves across the state and the country. But CAIR isn't taking that lying down. They fired back with a federal lawsuit calling Abbott's move unconstitutional, outrageous, and downright dangerous. This isn't just another political spat. This is a collision of civil rights, state authority, and national security narratives all tangled into one Texas-sized firestorm. And today we're breaking down 10 powerful facts that explain exactly what's going on, why it matters, and how this battle could reshape rights in America. Get ready, because every fact hits harder than the last, and the twists just keep coming. Texas Governor Greg Abbott kicked off this political earthquake by issuing an official state proclamation labeling CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations, along with the Muslim Brotherhood, as foreign terrorist organizations. This wasn't some background memo lost in a filing cabinet. It was a full-blown public designation with immediate consequences, including restrictions on property ownership. Abbott framed the move as a security measure, arguing that Texas needed to protect itself from what he claims are extremist ties. Critics, however, say the governor's claim doesn't come with any credible federal intelligence to support it. And that's exactly where the constitutional debate starts heating up. CAIR's Texas chapters responded with a federal lawsuit faster than you can say overreach. They argue Abbott's designation tramples on constitutional protections like due process, free speech, and equal treatment under the law. Their attorneys say the governor acted without evidence, legal grounding, or procedural fairness, basically branding the group a terrorist organization with zero fact-based justification. The lawsuit names both Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton, accusing them of abusing state authority to punish a civil rights group for political disagreements. CAIR says this is more than unlawful. It's dangerous. And if you thought this was just about labels, wait until you hear what Texas banned next. Abbott's order didn't stop at rhetoric. It blocked CAIR from owning or acquiring land anywhere in Texas. That's not symbolic. That's a massive restriction on the organization's operational freedom. It essentially criminalizes future growth, property purchases, and long-term community investment. CAIR's lawyers argued that Texas can't just invent new definitions of terrorism to seize control over who can own land, especially without evidence or federal backing. They're calling the proclamation a political sledgehammer dressed up as a security policy, and they say it's designed to intimidate Muslim communities statewide. And that's where the federal government's role becomes impossible to ignore. Under the U.S. Constitution, the power to designate foreign terrorist organizations belongs only to the U.S. Secretary of State, not governors. That's where the lawsuit hits Abbott hardest, the claim that he tried to assume powers he legally does not have. CAIR argues the state's proclamation violates the Supremacy Clause by interfering with federal authority. Even national security experts say Abbott's move carries no federal legal weight. Without Washington's approval, the designation is more a political gesture than a legal reality. But in Texas, the consequences are still very real. But none of this happens in a vacuum. There's a political backdrop fueling everything. Abbott's proclamation came during rising tensions around Muslim-led developments in Texas, especially the proposed Islamic Community Project outside Dallas, which conservatives falsely branded a Sharia compound. That rumor alone ignited statewide fear-mongering, giving Abbott political cover to appear tough on foreign influence. Critics say the timing was no coincidence. The governor capitalized on misinformation to justify sweeping action. The lawsuit argues the designation feeds Islamophobic narratives that endanger Muslim Texans and weaponizes state power to stifle religious freedom. And that leads directly into CAIR's argument about retaliation. CAIR claims Abbott targeted them because they've been vocal critics of his policies and supporters of Palestinian human rights. They've sued him before and won over unconstitutional restrictions on boycotting Israel. Their attorneys say this new attack is political payback disguised as counterterrorism. Meanwhile, CAIR is emphasizing that the governor never presented any legitimate evidence to justify the designation. They argue that when elected officials weaponize the term terrorist, it's not just rhetorical. It damages communities, destroys trust, and creates real-world fear. And the next chapter plays out inside the federal courthouse. The lawsuit, filed jointly with the Muslim Legal Fund of America, demands that the proclamation be declared unconstitutional and blocked immediately.
It argues that the state's sweeping powers allow penalties without hearings, trials, or the chance to defend oneself, a total violation of due process. They're saying Texas shouldn't have the authority to blacklist groups without evidence, notice, or federal legitimacy. The case could become a major showdown over the boundaries of state power. And that's where the bigger national implications emerge. This legal battle isn't just about one state and one organization. It's a national test case with implications for every civil rights and faith-based group in America. If a governor can unilaterally declare any advocacy organization a terror group, even without evidence, what stops future governors from targeting environmental groups, immigrant rights groups, or even political opponents? Legal scholars warn that Abbott's logic could turn terrorist designation into a political weapon across states. And that raises alarms beyond ideology. It impacts basic civil participation. The land ban component sends shockwaves through legal experts because land ownership is one of the oldest and strongest rights in state and federal law. CAIR argues Abbott is using a fake terror designation to discriminate against a protected religious minority and suppress constitutional freedoms. The case will likely set a precedent either protecting or weakening how states can regulate land, religion, and security under one umbrella policy. And that brings us to the big picture. At its core, this fight is about the boundaries of state power and the rights of minority communities. The lawsuit argues Abbott's proclamation uses the fear of terrorism to justify political punishment. Supporters say he's protecting Texas. Critics say he's pushing America into legally uncharted and deeply dangerous territory. The federal court's ruling could redefine how much authority states have in national security matters. And now, it's your turn to weigh in. If you're here for bold, sharp, no-filter breakdowns of the stories shaping America in real time, then you're in exactly the right place. This clash between CAIR and Governor Abbott isn't just a Texas headline, it's a national stress test on constitutional rights, state power, and the future of civil liberties. And that's why Global Pulse News is on it. So if you're rocking with this kind of deep dive coverage, hit that subscribe button, punch that like button like it owes you money, and jump into the comments with your take. Did Abbott cross the line? Or do you think states should have more authority in security decisions? We're reading everything you post. Stay locked in, stay informed, and keep your pulse tuned to the stories that matter.